Today, let us start to understand the chapter 1 for the class 7, that is nutrition in plants. Nutrition and its types. You already know that all living organisms require food to grow, repair the damaged parts of their bodies, and get energy to carry out life processes. You also know that the components of the food that are necessary for our body are carbohydrates, proteins, fat, vitamins, and minerals. These are called nutrients. The process of taking in food by an organism and its utilization by the body is called nutrition. The energy from the food is obtained by two processes, that is nutrition and respiration. The living world consists of organisms that show two kinds of nutrition. Number first, those are the autotrophic nutrition, and the second one, that is heterotrophic nutrition. Autotrophic nutrition in plants. Green plants are able to prepare their own food from the simple raw materials, carbon dioxide from the air and water from the soil. Plants get the energy for preparing food from sunlight. This mode of nutrition, where green plants make food themselves from simple substances, is called autotrophic nutrition. Auto means self, trophis means feeding. So that these are autotrophic nutrition, and such plants are therefore called autotrophs as well as producers. They are also called producers. The cells of the green leaves and the young stems of the plants contain numerous green structures called chloroplasts. The chloroplasts are the green because of the presence of a green pigment called chlorophyll. It is chlorophyll that traps energy from the sunlight. Leaves taking in the carbon dioxide from the air through tiny pores called stomata, and singularly they are known as stoma. These pores are located on the underside of the leaves. The stomata are surrounded by the guard cells. The guard cells controlled opening and closing of stomata. The water is absorbed from the soil by the roots hair present in the roots. The water and the minerals absorbed by the plants are transported to the leaves through xylem vessels that are like pipes. That means they are tubular structures. These pipes run through the root, stem, branches and leaves. You will read about these xylem vessels in the higher classes. Using the energy from the sun, a chemical reaction takes place in the green parts of the plant, in which the carbon dioxide and the water are converted into the food in the form of glucose. Oxygen is released in the process, and you can represent this by the formula: carbon dioxide plus water in the presence of chlorophyll and sunlight, that is forming glucose as well as oxygen, is evolved. Since the synthesis of the food occurs in the presence of sunlight, it is called photosynthesis. Photo means light and synthesis means combination of the components. Thus, photosynthesis combines the non-living components of the environment like water and carbon dioxide in the presence of the sunlight to form the food. The food synthesized by the green leaves is transported to the other parts of the plant by the stem. In most of the plants, glucose is converted into starch and stored in leaves or stem or maybe the roots, etc. The food that plants make is used not only by themselves but also by the entire living world. Besides, as you already know, photosynthesis helps to maintain the balance between oxygen and carbon dioxide levels in the atmosphere. Therefore, in the absence of photosynthesis, life would have been impossible. Okay students, today we will discuss about a fact also. Water helps to keep a plant to rigid and upright. Each plant cell has an elastic cell wall around it. The cell takes up water until the cell wall can stretch no more. The cell is then rigid like a bicycle tire when it has been filled with air or the blown up like a balloon. On hot, dry days, plants may lose too much water, then they drop. For large plants such as the trees and shrubs, this kind of support is not enough. They develop wood, rigid fibers which can support the weight of the big branches. Okay, now we will discuss about the other modes of nutrition in plants. Green plants can make their own food from the carbon dioxide and water in the presence of chlorophyll, a green pigment present in the green leaves, and sunlight. So green plants are autotrophic. Plants which do not contain chlorophyll depend on the other living organism for their food. Such plants undergo heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Various types of the heterotrophic nutrition are described. So let's understand about the saprotrophs. The plants which derive their food from the dead and decaying organic matter are called saprotrophs. Saprotrophs secrete digestive juices on the dead and decaying matter and convert it into a solution. They then absorb nutrients from it. Plants such as the mushrooms and molds undergo saprophytic mode of nutrition. So you can say these are the examples of saprotrophs, mushrooms and molds. The fungus that you see on leather clothes, breads and pickles during the season, that is monsoon season, is also a saprotroph. Now the next, these are the parasites. The plants which derive their food from the body of the other host plants are called parasites. The plants which make a part of their food themselves by photosynthesis but derive other components such as water, minerals, etc. of food from the host plant are called partial parasitic. Plants like the mistletoe are partial parasitic. Mistletoe can make its food but get water and minerals from the host plant. So that is example of partial parasitic plants. The mode of nutrition in the plants such as the cuscuta, that's also commonly known as amar bale, is totally parasitic because it just inject hostoria. Those are the small sucker-like structures which can be injected to the host plant body, and it's the prepared food material from the host plant, and that is the totally parasitic because they derive their food from the body of the host plants. Now the next, that is the insectivorous plants. Green plants which make their own food but depend on insects for nitrogenous food are called insectivorous. Such plants grow in mineral deficient, especially nitrogen deficient soil, so that they want to just gain it from the insect. Plants such as the pitcher plant, sundew, bladderwort derive their nutrition partially from the soil and the atmosphere and partially from the small insects. In the pitcher plant, the leaf is modified to form a pitcher-like structure. The bright color of the pitcher attracts the insects. Inside the pitcher, there are several hair-like structures that trap the insects downward. Then an insect sits on the pitcher, the lid closes, and the trapped insects entangles into the hair. The insect is then digested by the enzymes secreted by the plant. Now the next, that is the symbiotic. A relationship between two organisms in which both the organisms benefit each other is called symbiosis. The two plants which live together as a parts of the same plant and mutually help each other are called symbionts. The mode of nutrition in such organism is called symbiotic. Organisms like the lichens undergo symbiotic nutrition. A lichen is made up of a fungus and an alga living together. In lichen and alga, that is an autotroph, and a fungus, that is a saprophyte, depend on each other for their nutritional needs. The fungus supplies water and minerals to the algae, whereas the alga supplies organic food to the fungus.